Good morning, Commissioners, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the August 19, 2021 Cumberland County Commissioners Workshop meeting. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance by saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. I do call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. and I open up the floor for public comment. Hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, which is discussion and a request for approval to modify the Civil War Soldiers Monument to include soldiers who are missing from the monument. And I just want to start by saying that this is really a very appropriate day for us to be discussing this topic, as this is the 150th anniversary of the dedication of the monument. There are 5 soldiers who are known to have fought and died in the Civil War from Cumberland County. They all fought with the Massachusetts 54th Regiment, which is a federally mustered regiment. And for many reasons, they are not included on the monument. The request is to have placards made, and they would be approximately 0.875, they will be exactly 0.875 inches by 9.5 inches, and then they would be attached to the brass plaques. So the brass plaques would be bored, and then those name placards would actually be attached to the existing plaques. John Locke is on vacation today, but he has been working tirelessly to reach out to several different companies to provide some specifications on a project of that nature. And he does have at least one company so far has provided information. It would cost approximately $1,500 to have each of those names added. And that includes both manufacturing and installation of the placards. There is a high probability, however, that our facilities management department, they're skilled in, I think, everything, that they would be able to actually do the installation. And so therefore the cost would be significantly decreased. So the request is to have approval at this time to just modify. We'll actually be coming back once we've gone out to find a CoStar's company to provide the service itself to request the actual purchase. And this is an action requested item today.
Just have one question. Is it $1,500 for all of them, or $1,500 each?
$1,500 for the entire project.
Okay, very good. Questions? Entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move to approve the request as presented.
I will second that motion.
Okay, so moved and seconded. There's no further questions. We'll call it. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
There are none opposed. The action passes unanimously.
So agenda item number 4 is closely related to the item that we just discussed. And we have been working over the last several months with the Cumberland County Historical Society, as well as Randy Watts, who is a local history, a noted author of local history, and somebody I've been very fortunate to meet recently as I've read a lot of his work. So they have been working tirelessly on this research to identify the names of individuals, and as partners in this project, would like to offer a donation. So we actually have Carmen James. She is a member of the board, the Cumberland County Historical Society, with us today. If you have anything to add to the topic.
I just want to thank everyone that voted and for acknowledging the fact that we're adding the history. History books get bigger, they don't get smaller. And the Cumberland County Historical Society is very happy to be part of this and working with the community and to make things happen.
Mr. Watts, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I think the second part of that is the Historical Society has offered to donate the funding to modify the memorial.
Yeah, and I think as part of this donation, I think it is very fitting. The original monument, it was, and I'm sure that Mr. Watts can actually say this better than I can, but there were subscriptions made. So it was really the citizenry who paid for the monument. And so it is, I think, very appropriate that we have an organization that members of the citizens subscribe to that would be offering to pay for the increase in the names. Okay. Commissioners, this also is an action requested item today.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I will move to approve the donation from the Cumberland County Historical Society to cover the expenses to modify the Civil War Soldiers Monument in the estimated amount of $1,500.
Moved and seconded. If there's no other comments or questions, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Regina.
Yeah, no, it's purple. Have a wonderful day. We'll move on then to agenda item number 5, and I'll call on Tammy Bender to discuss resolution 2021-22 regarding a budget adjustment. Tammy?
Good morning, Commissioners. The general fund's increasing revenue and expenses by $194,000. MDJ Delosier entered into a new lease for their building, and GASB 87 requires the county to recognize the liabilities associated with those leases. The resolution is for accounting purposes. So your revenues and expenses are going to net to zero. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much, Tammy. We'll move on then to agenda item number 6, and I'll call on Tammy Hershey to review contracts and grants.
Thank you, Stacy. Agenda item number 6 is contracts and grants, and roll 1A through C consists of existing contracts, contract extensions, or addendum with no additional cost or increase to the county for the following: aging and community services, children and youth, drug and alcohol. Commissioners, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding these agreements? Hearing none, we will move on to agenda item number 6, numeral 2A through L, which consists of new contracts, vendor services, grants, and contracts with increases or decreases to the county. I will begin with calling on Kim Bittner to discuss the contracts for aging and community services. Yeah.
Good morning. The first one for Big Spring provides senior center services, and this is an addendum for fiscal year 2021. Messiah Lifeways provides personal care and home support to eligible seniors. The ARC of Cumberland Perry Counties provides adult daycare services. Precise Point provides personal care and home support to eligible seniors. And the last 3 from Messiah Lifeways are all for senior center services. And one of those for Mechanicsburg is an addendum for fiscal year 2021.
Thank you, Kim. Commissioners, do you have any questions? All right, I thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Next, I will call on Jamie Ryber to discuss the contracts for children and youth. Jamie.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first one that we have is a memorandum of understanding with SWAN Legal Services Initiative. This is just the memorandum between Children and Youth and SWAN for the roles and responsibilities of both our agency and the paralegals that are employed by SWAN but work in our office. The next one is a 2021 addendum to the Families United Network contract. We had discovered that there was a rate that was not included in the contract that we needed to use, so we are adding that now. The last one is for Marquis Montgomery County. This also is a 2021 contract for a trial that we had to place there, and we did not have a current contract with them, so we are putting that in place now.
If there's any questions for Jamie? Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
I will now call on Melissa Smith to discuss the contracts for CNRC, but I understand Ben will be covering those this morning.
Morning, Commissioners. The first contract I'm going to talk about is an addendum. It's for Adera healthcare staffing. They provide temporary personnel, nurse staffing. They have a rate change that they made. It will be effective 8/30. A minimal rate change and still definitely in line with the other healthcare agencies that we use. Next is Care Options. They provide our pharmacy services. This is an addendum to extend it 90 days. We are doing just the 90 days with everything that's going on with the sale. And Care Options specifically wanted to do 90 days, but in their contract, the county can actually get out of that one within 5 days at any time without penalty. And finally, Health Network Labs. They do our medical lab services. This is an addendum to change the terms of their contract. This contract was to run out 8/31. This will change the terms, extend it, and change the terms to a month-to-month basis.
Commissioners, any questions?
It's for you, Stacy, this will be reflected on the schedules of the AGS.
Yes. Once the contracts are approved on Monday, they'll be put into the data room and then also reflected on the screen.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, I will now discuss the U.S. Treasury Grant Application Award for ERA 2 for the Commissioner's Office. A second round of emergency rental assistance funding from the U.S. Treasury was included in the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Just like the first round, monies are allocated directly to counties with populations over 250,000 and also directly to states. Our direct allocation from the U.S. Treasury is $5,973,682.90. The combined grant application and award acceptance will trigger payment of the money to us. Are there any questions? No. Next, I will call on Ryan Simon to discuss the contract for drug and alcohol.
Good morning, Commissioners. Treatment Trends is one of our inpatient providers, and they're looking to increase their rate to $208. That's a $15 a day increase, and that's to help them with coming up to DDAP's new standards that they're using for inpatient. Any questions?
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
I will now call on Holly Sherman to discuss the contracts for human resources.
Good morning, Commissioners. The first contract we have is with Adera Consulting Group. This is a new contract for our Leadership Essentials training that will be conducting 2 sessions, one in the fall of 2021, one in the winter of 2022, as well as a Train the Trainer session. So this is a new contract, but is really a continuation of prior services provided. The other contract is with Adera. This is the system, our applicant tracking system, HiRel. So this is a 1-year extension of the contract. It is a decrease technically, but it is just a 1-year extension of the current services provided by HiRel/Adera HR. Any questions?
Holly?
No.
Thank you, Holly. Next, I will call on Mark Adams to discuss the contract for IMTO.
Good morning, Commissioners. IMTO is looking to engage with Appalachia Technologies for a security assessment of our network. It's a little bit overdue, and there's been some discussion amongst, I think, Gary and some of my staff as well. But they'll be doing some numerous testing on our network from both inside the network and outside the network to evaluate our overall security posture from a cybersecurity perspective. The cost for this service is $53,200.
Any other questions for Mark?
Mark, when's the last time we did a full-scale evaluation of this site?
Full scale, probably about 10 years ago, but we've been doing smaller pieces, working with the Department of Homeland Security and things throughout that time. So we're kind of going back to a larger scale. So this is a pretty big initiative.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next is Liquid Fuels and Finance, and Kirk was not able to attend, so he asked me to summarize the following for you. For the Susquehanna Valley Construction Corporation addendum. With the completion of the Wolf Bridge project, we are finalizing quantities, change orders, and adjustments for the project closeout. The table provided outlines the change orders and price adjustments that were required as part of the project, which results in a final change order for the project in the amount of $62,919.87. These change orders and adjustments have been reviewed and approved by HRG and PennDOT. This is a 100% federally funded construction project. And commissioners, if there's any questions that I could pass on to Kirk, I'll take this now. All right, I will now call on Sue Harwell to discuss the contracts for MHID. Sue.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So the first contract we have are for early intervention, and they are 2021 addendums. So the first contract for aspirations, it's an amendment for an increase of $9,524. And this agency does occupational, physical, and speech therapies for the children. The second contract is Connections Early Intervention and Support. It is also a 2021 amendment for an increase of $1,606, again, for occupational, physical, and speech therapies for the children. Then we have two IDD amendments for 2021. The first one is United Cerebral Palsy of Central PA. It is an increase for $61,703. It is basically for the residential services for our Pathways Academy. And the next contract is Marquette, Pennsylvania, an amendment for 2021, an increase of $488, and it is also for residential services. The next contract is Care Options RX. It is an MH contract for this new fiscal year, 21-22. It is a renewal, and it's a decrease of $2,000 for this year. And so it's for the pharmacy services. Then we have several IDD contracts for this new fiscal year, 21-22. The ARC of Cumberland and Perry counties. It's a renewal. It is a decrease of $55,798. It's basically an all-inclusive contract for the community participation support programs, which is our day programs, residential supported employment, in-home and community support. So all of those things. The decrease right now is related to the fact that the CPS programs are not totally all up and running yet. So we expect that this contract will come back for an amendment then. We have Goodwill Keystone Area. It is a renewal contract with an increase of $6,270. The services they provide are the supported employment services that are connected to Project Search. And the last contract there is Alcara Incorporated, doing business as Safe in Home, which they provide assistive technology supports to individuals in their homes. Right now, this is an increase of $11 for this coming fiscal year, 21-22. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
Next is the contract for planning, and Elizabeth was not able to attend today, therefore I will discuss the contract for planning. The contract submission is for professional engineering services to plan, design, implement, and certify best management practices for construction on selected farms to help meet the Chesapeake Bay Countywide Action Plan goals. Ken Wolf is providing these services for the planning department, working closely with the Conservation District and the execution of the Countywide Action Plan implementation grant from DEP. The contract term is through December 31st, 2023, and the total amount of these services is $41,250. The contract will be paid on a quarterly invoicing schedule, with 100% of the funding coming from the DEP implementation grant. Commissioners, do you have any questions regarding this that I could pass on to Elizabeth? Thank you. I will now call on Bob Shiley to discuss the contract for public safety.
Morning, Commissioners. Requesting your approval for continuation of the Interdraft Corporation Hexagon Computer Aided Dispatch Annual Maintenance Contract. The amount is $245,928.80. It is a one-year continuation from September 1st of 2021 until August 31st of 2022, and is 911 Uniform Fund eligible. It's about 54 line items of support for updates, releases, patches for the CAD system, mainly the servers, server licensing, all the interface servers, the map utility, and some of the other features with that. So, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, next I'd like to call on Brian Ward to discuss the contract with the sheriff's.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all in person. I'm glad I went after Shia because I'm not asking for $245,000. I'm asking for an additional $1 a day to continue our relationship with Lexipol. They write our policies. They keep up on case law. They mitigate liability. They're fantastic. And it went up $365. So that's where we're at. Thank you all. Any questions? Good to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
You too.
Stacy, that concludes agenda item number 6, our contracts and grants.
All right, thank you, Tammy. We move on then to agenda item number 7, and I'll call on Commissioner Eichelberger to discuss the Cumberland County MHIDD Advisory Board reappointment recommendation.
Right, it's that time of year again for the advisory board and the nominating committee. That's where these come from. They essentially vet the candidates and present them to us with a recommendation, and that's what we have in front of you. Dr. Vern Greiner has been with the board, most recently served as the president of the board, and is eligible for a third term, and we'd love to have her back. So she is on that list of nominees. Also, Dr. Christopher Royer, that also would be a reappointment. Also, we're joined to have him returning to the board. That would be a 3-year term. Everybody received a copy of the letter. And if there's any questions, you can certainly direct them back toward supporting any. Both have served with distinction in their time.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Commissioner. We move on then to agenda item number 8, which is discussion of the Assessment Appeals Board appointment recommendation to fill a vacancy. And I'll call on Commissioner Eichelberger again. I'm having a really hard time saying Commissioner and Eichelberger back to back. I just have to share that.
Just knock a couple syllables off.
Yes, yes. Tongue twisting there. But nevertheless, I will call on you to cover that agenda item.
Sure. Okay, we had a vacancy here on the Assessment Appeals Board, which of course function is to deal with the citizen appeals to the assessments that are assigned by the county. And Lloyd Luger, who served for a very long time on that board, very capably, he was the former finance director of the county, has retired, and after a distinguished tenure on that board, created a vacancy, and they obviously asked for an appointee to fill that. Just as a reminder to a lot of folks, the issue of assessment was pretty pivotal in this county a number of years back, and the board made some significant changes to make this process more consumer, user / public member friendly, so that there was clearly an independent role, and the county would not be seen as a beneficiary of the appeals, and that the board would not be dominated by county bureaucrats and those with vested interests in the real estate industry. So I sought an appointee, since Mr. Fuker had been my appointee in the past, and inquired with Nancy Godfrey of Shippensburg. Nancy and her husband may be familiar to a lot of you. Her late husband now owned a number of properties in Cumberland and Franklin counties. They were essentially redevelopers. I don't know what the current term is for that, but they bought blighted properties and developed them, redeveloped them, turned them into housing, helped us avoid blight. And they were very involved in the assessment appeals process. Nancy and her husband both were consumers / end users of that process. And I think that experience is tremendous value to that board. Their treatment, quite candidly, at times was not a shining example of how the county should be treating citizens. So I think that brings a valuable perspective to that board. And Nancy is a business person, has run a printing business and shipments per borough for a long time. And as I said, has extensive experience in the partnership with her husband on real estate, frequent encounters with the county appeals assessment appeals system and process. And I think that's a perspective that's been missing on that board for quite a while. I think should be a marvelous addition. So we'll be taking action on that recommendation on Monday. This would be effective immediately since Mr. Cooper's resignation created a vacancy, and we are coming up on the period in which appeals will be forthcoming. That term would expire on December 31st of 2023. And everybody has a copy of the letter of interest. When I spoke to Nancy, I told her to send the letter of interest rather than a resume because it gave a better opportunity, in my opinion, to discuss the more relevant experience. So everybody has that.
Any questions, commissioners? We'll move on then to agenda item number 9, which is an appointment recommendation and approval. So commissioners, please note this is an action requested item for the South Central Workforce Development Board, and I'll call on Commissioner Eichelberger to discuss.
Yeah, the Workforce Investment Board serves the 8 counties of South Central PA, not Lancaster, but Juniata, including Lancaster, sizable enough they have their own Workforce Development Board. And that body essentially implements all of the training and retraining programs that are funded and overseen by the Commonwealth and the federal government. They have substantial resources. They've become a significant partner to us with our economic development effort here in Cumberland, and that's a growing role. That organization is governed by 2 distinct bodies. One is a group that is the board of directors, which is the industry representatives who are appointed by us. The recommendations can come from us or they can come from the body. The group brought me this name, Lorlee Isabel. She is a faculty member who is at Shippensburg University, which of course has been a partner of our local workforce development effort, county-based as well. She was extremely highly recommended. And I can't tell you how many kudos I've heard as she's been a real thought leader in the workforce development area. So the Workforce Investment Board would very much like to have her added on the industry side. You may occasionally hear me talk about the Workforce Investment Board. There's also a local elected officials board. That's the board I serve on and have in conjunction with all the other county commissioners from the represented counties. And it's up to the counties to make this appointment. So that name is, I did not see if we received a resume on her. Do we have this? We have a letter of interest.
We received a letter.
Yeah, this came from Sue McCurdy, who's the Senior VP of Strategy and Student Success, who we work with very closely on workforce development issues. She's kind of a point person for that at the university and has been for a number of years now. So they are volunteering Lorlee to serve on this board, and the South Central PA Works, which is the name of the Workforce Investment Board, is absolutely thrilled to have her. They're familiar with her work, and they're absolutely thrilled to have her. So that's the suggestion that's brought to us. And there was action scheduled for that on Monday. It's a 3-year appointment, effective August 1st, and would expire July 31 of 20. Oh, we need action today. That's right. Okay. Because the vacancy. Our other member there is Kentucky, you know all of us. So with that, I'll ask for a motion of approval.
Make a motion to appoint Lori Isbell for a 3-year term effective August 1, 2021, expiring July 31st, 2024, and the appointment will be for the South Central Workforce Development.
I will second that motion.
Let's move to the second. I just want to note that it really should be South Central Workforce Investment Board.
Do we need to amend the motion?
I don't think so. It's maybe the.
It should be, because the agenda says that always.
Okay.
I'll amend the motion to appoint Lori Isbell for a 3-year term effective August 1, 2021, expiring July 31st, 2024, to the South Central Investment.
I will second that motion.
Okay, so moving second, all in favor indicate by saying
I
aye.
have a question, and I vote aye, but I do have a question about this because I just want to make sure that I understand. Commissioner Eichelberger, are you the liaison to the South Central Workforce Investment Board?
I serve on the local elected officials board, not the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's, okay. Is it on this list that we have of commissioner liaison assignments?
Where it says Workforce Investment Board, that's.
That's what that is. Thank you very much.
Yes, they rebranded South Central PA Works. We probably should make that as well, but they are functionally Workforce Investment Board. And I'm specifically on the LEO, the local elected officials board.
Thanks.
Okay, so all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on then to agenda item number 10 for Commissioners' Liaison Reports, and I'll start with Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, just very briefly, we have, I was unable to attend Monday evening's recycling meeting, so I asked Justin to send me anything. He did send me another article on how labor shortages impacting the recycling industry and what the trickle-down effect of that could be in terms of consumer availability to recycle. I forwarded a copy that he sent me. I forwarded a copy of it. Both of you, if you're interested, take a look at that. I'll get an update from him. I know there was at least one agenda item on Monday evenings. I haven't got an update on that yet. Also, a lot going on with CADIC as usual. A lot of things moving lately on that. We did not have a board meeting this month, but Jamie Keener, the CEO, is going to have his CEO report that we normally would receive at that meeting available in probably the end of this week, tomorrow. And he will forward that to all board members, including commissioners, at that time. A couple other items that he did mention to me, of course, is strategic workforce development, workforce plan that's in development that we are soliciting proposals for that. So we have consultants who help us pull all that together. Those proposals are in hand now. There'll be an evaluation. I don't know the deadline on that has been set. There also is, because of staffing changes there, recent departures as well. James is going to be talking to us about 2 positions that are going to be advertised as well to fill out the staff again. We are going to have a meeting on the 25th for our finance committee meeting, in which Laura Hoff will be here to discuss the workforce development plan that, the ongoing activity that the county helps fund on an annual basis. Hotel tax coming in slightly ahead of the anticipated revenue, and one of the good news on that front. The RACP grants that the next round is opening next month in September. If you're aware of potential projects, please let Jamie know about that. Only other thing is also, Jamie just forwarded me a copy of a report that DCED put out that came from Carnegie Mellon on the innovation economy of Pennsylvania. And I made copies, just its one-page executive summary, and I can send the link to anyone who's interested. We're trying to really become much more forward-looking with the policy planning committee. And of course, a lot of change going on in the economy right now due to COVID in part, due to a number of other trends as well. And we're trying to make sure we're staying out in front of those. So innovation economy is certainly one of the things we focused on. We're making a more concerted effort on that. But this report, I've only taken a quick glance at it. It looks very interesting. The state farming bill, they do very good work on this front. So I'll provide the executive summary to each of you and the link if you're interested. And that's everything.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bosch.
Planning Commission was started this morning at 7:30 a.m. and I have a feeling it may still be going on. That's why Hurricane Elizabeth can't make it. Penn Township withdrew from consideration the rezoning of the Mains property from commercial to industrial. They may bring it at a later time, but it was withdrawn from this morning's agenda. There is a request that Kurt will be bringing to the three of us for a letter of support for Cumberland County to be included in a mega greenway for the September 11th National Memorial Trail. I did not know anything about this project until this morning, but it certainly sounds very interesting and could open up federal opportunities for funding to close the gaps in our trails in Cumberland County. So that would be a good thing, but Kurt will be bringing that to us. And the last thing I have is to, of course, use the library. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner DeFilippo.
Yeah, the August CapCog meeting was canceled. Angela, I know I had asked you to make some reports for that meeting, but I forgot about it. It was canceled until that day. Housing and redevelopment will meet at noon today, which I will be participating as usual. The Ag Board met last week, and we had results of the field inspections of the 189 preserved farms in Cumberland County. These inspections were done between May 25th and July 13th. The results were broken down into 4 categories: full compliance, which means no issues or violations; deed correction required, which means no major violations observed, but a deed correction must be completed; conservation plan update required; and major violation. Of the 189 farms, we had 0, which fell into the major violation bracket, 3% that required a deed correction, and 7% that required a conservation plan update, and 90% were in full compliance. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to report that executive sessions were held on August 9, 2021 at 2:15 p.m., August 11, 2021 at 1:50 p.m., and August 18, 2021 at 9:30 a.m., all regarding personnel. Is there any other business that needs to come before today? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Good. Okay.